So here we go again. This is the second part to your activity on color, tint, and tone. These are going to be monochromatic tonal bars. So you can use any of the colors in the rainbow that you want, but a monochromatic tonal bar means you're using one hue and white and black to create your range of tones. Okay? We might start off with a little bit of black, and I'll show you. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to set up our tonal bars. So if you read the instructions, you're going to have three. You're going to have three 2-inch by 8-inch tonal bars. They're going to have a 2-inch space in between them. Okay? And then each one of the tonal bars is going to have 4 sections, 4 spaces. So you're going to do the darkest one here, and then it's going to lighten up as you go down the range. All right? So let's go ahead and get our right side of the page done. Put your ruler at 0 at the top of your page, and you might want to come down to 1. Well, let's go to 2. I think our sheet, you guys have large sheets. Mine is 11 by 14 by 11. You guys have 14 by 17. So come down 2 inches from the top to get started, and you want to make a little tiny mark. 2 inches from the top of your sheet to get started. And then you go to the next 2, because that'll be 1 block space right here. Then you skip 2 and make another mark, and then go down 2 to make another block space. Skip 2, and then you go down to the end to make another block space. And you'll understand this in just a second. Okay? So now we have a tonal bar that's going to be here, one that's going to be here, and one that's going to be here, with a 2-inch space in between them. So now you're going to do is come on the other side, same thing, put the 0 at the top of your sheet, and then you're going to drop down to 2 to put a dash. These 2 dashes need to line up. Drop down 2, okay, drop down 2, drop down 2 again, drop down 2, and drop down to 2. All right, so these lines should help you line up your straight horizontal orientation of the lines that are going to create your blocks. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need them to be 8 inches across, right? So you're going to put the ruler on those 2 dashes, and it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put it at a 1, and then I'm going to drag it all the way over here to the 9. That'll be 8 inches. 1 to 9 on my ruler is 8 inches. But you want to line it up now. Make sure it's lined up. If you don't even touch the dash at the end, it doesn't matter. It's just a dash to line up your ruler. So same thing down here. Line it up. There's a dash here. There's a dash there. Put it on the number 1 or the 0, whatever you have. But you only want it to be 8 inches across. Only want it to be 8 inches across. Skip down 2. You only want these to be 8 inches across. You want to use a sharp pencil too. Mine's pretty dull. Stop at 9. Sorry, I went a little bit too far. And then I'm going to do this next 2. I'm stopping at 9. I'm going to start at the 9 so I don't forget. I need to, because this is 8 inches long. I'll go back and show you how that part is done. As long as you know you're working with 8 inches, it doesn't matter what numbers you put it on your ruler. You know that it's an 8-inch space. So if I just go ahead and put my ruler on there right, I'm going to see that this is a 0 and this is an 8. This is 8 inches long. All right, so all your horizontal lines are in there nice and even. You started it at a 1, you ended it at a 9, so you're going to have 8 spaces in there. So now what you do is you come in and you put your verticals in. And these verticals need to be straight. So you should stop your line at the 9 so that they're all even. Or stop it at the 8 if you manage to use 0 to 8 to make your horizontal lines. And so now I have my 3 right verticals for my bars. And then I'm going to have my 3 left verticals for my bars. So I started in here, and all of my fronts, all of my ends over here are nice and even. They're perfectly even. Okay, so I have my 3 bars. Okay, so each of these bars have to have 4 spaces in them. So guess what? Take your ruler and mark a 2, and a 2. So every 2 inches I put a mark. You can do the same thing at the top. And when you put a mark at the top and bottom or left and right of any structure that you're trying to build, it helps you to line that ruler up easier so you don't have skewed lines. So use that ruler, use it as much as you need to. So we're going to only do 4 blocks in here. We're going to make a quick monochromatic. All right, so again, put your ruler down and mark it at every 2. Put it at the top. You could have started at the top. I don't know why I started at the bottom. But every 2, and then you're going to have your mark. There's a whole lot of other quick ways to get this done, but I'm going to do it one by one. I could have gone all the way through and done all the lines. Matter of fact, I'll show you. Put the ruler on the lines for here and here, and then it's going to automatically give me this line. Put the ruler on the line from here to here, because these 2 lines are helping direct where the bottom part of the ruler is going. And then you can get through it pretty quick. You don't have to do those little small 2-inch increment marks. All right, so there you go. Look at that. So what colors do I want to use for my monochromatic? I want to use blue. I want to use green. No, I like red. And I think I want to go with an orange. And they don't have to be primaries. They don't all have to be secondaries. They don't all have to be anything. It's whatever color you make. If you want to make a whole new muddy color, you can. As long as you have a monochromatic mixture, which means that the hue, we're going to put the full hue here in on the second one. And then the first one's going to have a tiny bit of black. So that shades it. Okay, and then full hue, and then white, and then more white. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this really cool, quick monochromatic. And I still have a little bit of paint on some of my palettes from earlier. Well, not too much. I got a little bit of blue here, but I think I need more, so I'm not going to use that one. Let me grab another plate. I still have black on this plate right here, so I'll definitely keep this one handy. All right. Use up what you have. Don't waste your paint. Don't waste your paint. So my first one is blue. Put a dot of blue. Oops. And then I have some black over here. I'll just move some of my black over here on this plate. All right. Clean off that brush. You don't want to cross-contaminate. And then I wanted what? What's the other one? Red. Put some red on. Oh, here's some red on this other plate. I'll scoop this one up and put it over here. Don't need much. All right. So that's my red. Only because I don't like throwing away paint. This is why I salvage it. So what is the other color? Blue, red, and orange. So that means I need what? This is a secondary color. So I need red and yellow to make that orange. And then I also need white on this palette because we have to do some tints as well. All right, so we're all set up. So the first one is going to be blue. I'm going to start with my full hue right here. And I'm also going to change to a larger brush. Make sure you always hydrate the ends of your brush. That helps the acrylic move better across the surface. So just moisten it a little bit. Just moisten it just a little bit. And I'm going to start in the center right here. And this is going to be my full hue because I want to shade to the left, and then as I move toward the right, we are going to tint, lighten it a little bit more. So here it is. Keep it neat. Neatness counts. If your work gets turned in and it's looking shabby and disorganized and not clean lined, there will be serious point consequences. So make sure you keep it nice and clean and neat. Stay in between the lines. This is a 2D design class, so everything must be like pretty close to perfect. Okay. So this one is my full hue. And I'm now going to take a little tiny bit of black and move it to a portion of my blue. My brush is a little dry. I'm going to get some water on that so that this pigment blends and merges a little bit. You just want to slightly darken it. You don't want a lot. You just want to slightly darken it over here. You don't want it to be too dark. So we're just testing out. We're just testing out how these hues can change and how light. So we're creating the illusion of light and shade, or tint and shade, light and shade on these squares here. We're creating a darker hue to represent shade, and we're going to create lighter hues to represent light or tint. I had to turn it a little bit. Always turn your paper if you need to get the best angle for your hand, you know. You don't have to always keep it straight up and down. So what I'm doing is just mixing in a little bit more because I ran out. Here we go. So that is my shade of my blue. Now I'm going to move toward the other side. So my blue on the immediate right is going to have just a little bit of black, but you're not, a little bit of white, but you're not going to take, and see that had black on it, so I'm not going to use that. I need to get some more blue because I need no black in the next section. No black at all. Clean off the brush. Now the video looks a little funny here because there's shine on that space here. This one's kind of shiny. That's why it looks bright right here. But that's only because it's shiny. So now I have my blue right there. And I'm going to grab some of this white and take it over here. And technically I can mix the whole thing with a little bit of white because I'm going to add more white to get to the last step. So I'm brightening it up right here. And I'm going to give it a little bit of water because it's kind of thick and gooey. So here is my shade. It's going to get lighter as I go to the last block. This is a monochromatic tonal bar in blue. And you're going to do 3 to get the experience with this activity. So now I want a little bit more white, and I might not take it to that full batch of blue because I really just need a little bit. So whatever was left on my brush, maybe just a little tiny bit from the batch, and then come over here, and this will be my lighter one. You can technically make a monochromatic bar with a whole lot of blocks, But I just wanted to keep it simple just to give you a brief experience on this. How to create monochromatic illusion. By using blacks and whites with your hue. Oops, dang it, I went outside the line a little bit. Anyway, there's my monochromatic blue. Pure hue here, pure hue with black here, pure hue with white here, and then even more white there. And then you can go on and on and on and on, and they get lighter and lighter and lighter, and they can get darker and darker and darker. So take the challenge. If you want to do more blocks, I can give you extra credit on that. So right here, your assignment only calls for 4 blocks. If you want to do more, you're welcome to. So now I'm going to do red and then orange, and then I'll show you the final results in just a few minutes. So this is what it ended up looking like. And I had a little bit of trouble with the orange mixture because, of course, you know, you have to mix red and yellow to get an orange, and then you have to add more white and more white. If you don't get the mixtures the way that they, keep looking at the colors. If they look pink, then they're not an orange. They're not a warm family. If they look pink, if they're looking pink, they're not really a yellowy orange warm type of color. Even though red is a warm color, you want to have that element of yellow in there. This one was looking really pink. You can probably see a little bit of it right here. And I had to get in there and correct it. And then this one right here was actually that color. So I had to get in there and paint over them. And these are opaque colors where if you put more and more layers, you can cover up other things under there. You can cover up other layers to correct things. So you have to kind of wait for one layer to dry a little bit and then do another layer to fix it. So basically this is an orange with some black. This is an orange with a little bit of white, and this is an orange with even more white. So these, I think, turned out really good. Really, really good. Bingo.